You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I hope everybody enjoyed our day one coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft. I know I'm still hyped up about Malik Nabers being a member of the New York Giants. I gave the pick an A-plus grade. He was my top 2 player at the position. It was a major need for this football team, and he is going to change life for this offense overnight. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Malik Nabers, and I'm excited to do so. But in today's video, we're looking at day 2 of the NFL Draft. We're going to talk about the best players available at the top positions of need, and then I'll tell you who I think the Giants should select with pick 47 as well as pick 70. The best player left in the draft, in my opinion, is Jerzon Newton, a.k.a. Johnny Newton, the interior defensive lineman from Illinois. Here at Chat Sports, we had him as the 15th best player in the class. He would be a home run pick for Joe Schoen. I just expect him to go at the top of round 2, and the Giants would probably have to trade up in that slot to get him. Another guy I'm looking at is cornerback Alabama Kool-Aid McKinstry. I told you guys I had a feeling he was going to fall until day 2, and if he is still on the board at pick 47, I would love to add him, as well as I would with Cooper DeJean. More of a slot corner than an outside corner compared to Kool-Aid McKinstry. But the Giants, they need a corner. DeJean, one of the best left. I would love to go and see if he will be on the board. Probably going to have to trade up for him. Other guys that I'm looking at, Mikey Sainristil, cornerback, Michigan. I love the dog and the tenacity and competitiveness that he plays with. I also wouldn't mind going after Braden Fiske, the interior defensive lineman from Florida State. Maybe you look in round 2 to go Cooper Beebe, try to beef up that interior offensive line. But if I am making the pick for the Giants at 47, I'm going to try to align best player available with team need. And you can sometimes get in the weeds when you try to do that because it's a lot to juggle. But I truly believe you need to be looking at the cornerback position, the interior defensive line position as the 2 top needs in round 2. So you talk about a guy like Braden Fiske or Mikey Sainristil or Kool-Aid McKinstry or Cooper DeJean or Jerzon Newton. That would be a home run pick. My dream on day 2 is for the Giants to trade up and select a guy like Jerzon Newton. I'm just not sure if that is going to happen. I think it would cost too much, and I wouldn't be surprised if whoever is picking at 33 might just go ahead and make that pick. Before I tell you who I want the Giants to select at pick 47, I want to hear from you. Who do you want the Giants to pick in round 2? Let me know. Give me a name. Give me a player. A guy that you want to be seeing wearing a New York Giants draft hat after pick 47. The guy that I had as the selection, as I did not trade up and guys like Newton and DeJean and Kool-Aid McKinstry were gone, I am selecting the cornerback out of Michigan, Mikey Sainristil. I'm a huge fan of his game. He is ultra competitive. And when you listened and go back to listen to the way Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen talked about Malik Nabers last night, the word that they used 1,000 times was competitiveness, competitiveness, competitiveness. And that applies the same thing with Sainristil. He's a former wide receiver with great instincts despite limited experience on defense. I think he's only going to continue to get better as he is just scratching the surface. I think he's a better fit at the nickel due to his size, a little bit smaller, but the physicality, the competitiveness, and the tenacity that he plays with, I think will let him hold up if he does need to play on the outside, but I think he's a game changer and a game wrecker in the slot. And the Giants need an outside corner, but I'm just looking to add defensive playmakers at this point. Size could cause some issues, no doubt, but he is not afraid to put his nose up in things and go and make some plays. He was excellent in the national championship against the Washington Huskies. He had 8 tackles, an interception. He was all over the football field. If you watched that game, you saw how special he was. This is what the Athletic's Dane Brugler in his write-up in The Beast about Sainristil said, quote, obviously has size limitations that will remove him from some teams' draft boards, but other teams will be more than happy to bet on his outstanding toughness, instincts, and ball skills. He will compete for immediate starting reps as a rookie nickel. Dane Brugler has him as the 43rd overall prospect in this draft class, and we're getting him at pick 47. Giants have a needed corner. He's one of the best in this class. more of a slot corner. I understand that, but we know Shane Bowen loves to play defenses and defensive personnel groupings with a lot of DBs on the field. He ran dime, which features 6 DBs 24% of the time. Second highest in the NFL last year. Sainristil would fit like a glove in that type of situation. We'll talk about who I had the Giants selecting in round 3 in a second. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Game Time. Download the Game Time app, use the promo code ChatSports, and they're going to hook you up with $20 off your first purchase. You get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the events get closer. I am a procrastinator. I will not lie to everybody. But I found an app that actually aligns with what I like to do, and I don't like to spend money until I have to, and I do that when I'm using Game Time because I'm going to get the best deal the longer I wait, and I get to save a little bit of money along the way. Download the Game Time app. Use the promo code ChatSports. Get $20 off. It's user-friendly. It's easy to maneuver through. You get to get a view of the seat from your seat on the stage, the concert venue, so much more. Giants games, Knicks games, Rangers games, Yankees games, Mets games, comedy shows, concerts, theater events, and so much more. Shout out to our proud sponsor, Game Time. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. In the third round with pick number 70, I am selecting the defensive lineman Brandon Dorlus, the Oregon Duck. He was our number 5 defensive tackle in this draft class here at Chat Sports and the number 65 overall player. I think he's an underrated prospect who played all over the defensive line in his career. He has a nice blend of strength and athletic ability, but concern over what position fits him best. A lot of missed tackles. He did improve that in 2023. He could play your DT. He could be a 3-4 DT. He could be a 4-3 edge. He could play all over. He's got good size. He comes in at about 6'3", 295 pounds. I'm a big fan of him. In 2023, he had 46 pressures. He puts pressure on the quarterback. 8 pass breakups when it comes to deflections. He had 5 sacks as well. 2.5 in 2023, 2.5 the year before. He can really do it all, and I think adding him to a defensive line that features Burns and Thibodeau as well as Dexter Lawrence, you have 4 guys that could do a little bit of everything, and the versatility would be an awesome tool for a guy like Shane Bowen to use. The Athletic's Dane Brugler says this: Dorlus needs to find better consistency on a snap-to-snap basis, but he has the natural power and agility to be a versatile disruptor in an NFL defensive line rotation. He projects best as a base end who can also reduce inside on sub-packages. And we talked about how Shane Bowen loves to operate in sub-packages. I'm sure there's a lot of people like, Marshall, why did you not draft a quarterback? I thought it was a little bit too early to select one of these mid-round quarterbacks at pick 47, and by the time we got to pick 70, the only one I'm interested in is Spencer Rattler, and he was not on the board. I don't love drafting mid-round quarterbacks, and if there was one in this class that I would, it would be Rattler. And if he was on the board at 70, I would not mind the Giants pulling the trigger. In my mock draft, he wasn't there, and I'm not going to cheat you. I respect you all too much. Maybe the Giants look at the running back position in round 3. Trey Benson, he's Chat Sports' best available back. Not mine. I actually have Jonathan Brooks as one, Jalen Wright 2, and I even have the running back out of USC above Blake Corum. I got Benson as my 4th or 5th back. But if you're going to get a running back, these are some of the top guys. You want to add another pass rusher to this team. Braylon Trice out of Washington is really good. I've always been a fan of Chris Braswell, the Bama edge rusher. Adisa Isaac, the New York native, could be a guy you look at 47. And then Jonah Ellis out of Utah. You still got to fill the shoes of Xavier McKinney as well. Maybe you don't do that in day 2 of the draft. Maybe that's a day 3 thing. A guy like Jaden Hicks, Tyler Nubin, Cole Bishop, and Javon Bullard. I like all 4 of those guys. And maybe if one of them were on the clock at 47, like Hicks or Nubin, you could pull the trigger. I know this. I'll be keeping you up to date on my Twitter as well when it comes to everything Big Blue. So give me a follow over there. And if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon for us.